Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Last Week in Rugby on the Bonus Point Rugby podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Olsen, and we are in the final week of Super Rugby AU, and we've just kicked off the Mitre 10 Cup season. So me and Hulla are cheering right now. We're having an awesome time. But before we get started, I just want to thank our amazing
100.
sponsors. First off, Whalebird Kombucha. If you're looking for a great tasting beverage that is actually good for you, go try them out at your local Whole Foods, Air One, or other health food stores. Secondly, we are proud to have partnered with the Rugby Nation this past week, who are the leaders in strength and conditioning specifically for rugby players. Look out on our Facebook page or go visit their website for more information about their projects and their strength and conditioning programs. So this past weekend, we found out who's going to be in the Super Rugby AU finals. And although I wanted to get to see the Rebels have the fairy tale ending I wanted, we will truly see the two best teams in Australia, aka the Reds and the Brumbies, face off this weekend. So before we get stuck into talking about this, I just want to invite my friend Tavita Halafia, aka Novel Capote, into the show. What's going on, brother?
Just like to say, I told you so. I just want to start today's session by saying, Hulla, told you so.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're not being
not humble at all.
Yeah, you're not being humble at all.
No, not at all. But good afternoon, good evening. How is everyone doing?
Wow, what a great start to the show, just being an absolute dick. There we go.
Just an ass.
Well, I know. It's when I was making the wager, I kind of sat there and I was like, yeah, it's not gonna end my way. But to be honest, it's something where I had to double down on it, or I'd never get this opportunity again. But you are right. The Reds were definitely deserving for that win. They definitely are the main culprits to head into this final with the Brumbies. But let's talk about this matchup. So, although they ended up losing, they kept it very close for the first 60 minutes of this contest. And we spoke about it last week. We saw early on that the forwards from the Reds had a bit of trouble with the size and the physicality of the Rebels forwards. But was it the forwards or the backs that you think that kept the Rebels in the hunt during the game?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, we said last week that if the Reds tried to, use their muscle and try to out-muscle the Rebels, that they'd have problems, and that would give the backs a bit of problems, and for the Rebels, it would give them the go forward that they need. And that's what happened in that first half, and essentially the first 60 minutes. I think the backs for the Rebels, some uncharacteristic mistakes, but I also think that it needs to be said that the Reds they've got the best defensive record for the Australian teams this year. Mm-hmm. So I think their rush defense and their cover defense really paid dividends. And even with the likes of Feoi Sortia and Jordan Pataya having to finish the game early in the first half, mm-hmm. The Reds defense still matched up, and that's no excuse for the Rebels. I think there were forward passes and drop balls that were just in critical moments that just let them down.
Well, let's talk about the defense. So their backs were obviously led by Matt Tamor, and he's been playing quite well, and he had an early finish to his game as well. But they played exactly what you get taught in grassroots rugby. They played wide, deep, expansive rugby. They wanted to move the ball. But like you said, when you play a team like the Reds that have such quick line speed and constant defensive pressure, throwing the ball side to side and just trying to make those plays work, like the Pataya incept, it just doesn't work. You saw it. So did Matt Tamor do enough this season to get that starting number 10 jersey, or do you think your old mate from school, James O'Connor, is proving on the weekend that he's number one for Dave Rennie?
Honestly, I think Matt Tamor. I don't know. I was at that game. And
you went? Did you go to that game?
I went to the game. Yeah, I was there nice and early. I was one of the first people in the stadium.
Nice.
I was quite excited. Look, what I saw was you'll notice the Brumbies and Reds play a tracking game. Their trackers are usually Sakai Loto because he's playing in the lock position, but essentially you've got four loosies on the field. What he does is in the defensive line, he sort of stays in that mid-back position where he's in front of the fullback but behind the defensive line, and he's just tracking for any loose breaks. Now, the Reds weren't doing that, so I can actually see Matt Tamor why he was wanting to shift that ball so much, because he knew shift the ball once or twice, 3 or 4 times, and then that little chip or that little grubber through. I think what he didn't anticipate was the Jordan Pataya and both wings actually making a rush defense in that J shape, which was shutting it down a lot. And I also think that the Reds forwards use their speed around the ruck and off the maul to really not commit too much.
Yeah.
And so they were having to run those double man plays, and they were just running that line way too deep. So even if they got the passes away to the wing or the outside backs, they still weren't making that advantage line. But there's definitely logic behind what Matt Tamura was trying to do. I just don't think that he was doing it fast enough and at the correct line. I suppose the speed of it would play, dividends into depth, but I just think he was a little too deep for it to happen. In regards to him, do I think he's the number 10 selection? Definitely not. I think Ioane from the Brumbies and James O'Connor this weekend is going to be a really good indicator on who's going to be taking that 10 spot.
You mean Lolosio from the Brumbies?
Lolosio, sorry.
I was about to say, did Josh Ioane just get rid of his All Blacks caps and he just went and played for the Wallabies?
Sorry.
He's like, Bodie Barrett and Richie Mong are going to be there for a while. I'm just going to go leave and go play for the Wallabies.
I'm out. Yeah, my grandma's Australian. Boom.
Well, let's talk about the Reds. So obviously you spoke about him, Jordan Bataille, the outside centers. He drew first blood for that Reds try, and I think this kid should just be named the intercept king because he continues to read oppositions like an open book. Every time he's done it so many times, it's becoming his thing. But on the other hand, when Paisami came in for Bataille, he set up another beautiful try and came off the bench with a lot of impact, Paisami started a lot of games for the Reds and made a lot of massive impacts for the Reds. But Bataille has a lot of raw talent, and I haven't seen that in a long time from an Australian player. So, assuming Bataille is okay from his injury from the weekend, from his HIA, who do you start in that number 13 jersey?
You start Paisami, bro. It's simple. Jordan had a HIA, man. You can't start him. That's just health first, bro. Regardless of what's on the line. Look, here's the thing. I think Paisami is he's in my Wallaby selection personally. I think he's
starting
an amazing addition to the Reds this year. Off the bench for the Wallabies, I would think. I think he's deserving of that. What we saw is two different centers playing, right? We saw Jordan Bataille, that just ridiculous talent. With the hard work, but he can just read plays really good, make something out of nothing with his fancy footwork, slick skills. But Paisami, that guy just runs straight, throws dummies, and you just don't know what to do. He's that big that people aren't wanting to commit to the hit because they know that they could be second off on it. But at the same time, he's got the silky skills, man. His passing is amazing. He's very elusive. I suppose being a smaller outside back myself, there's just your repertoire just needs to be that little. I think his skill set is probably a little bit more than Jordan Bataille's. I think Jordan has a higher rugby IQ and just the elusiveness that you can't teach. That's just talent, man. Yeah. And the Reds, it doesn't matter who you start and who finishes. Because both are just astounding players, and both are a credit to the Red system that's really trusted the youth to really handle it. And an outside back is a power position, man. You either can or you can't.
Yeah.
Rieko Ioane, it took him a while to get accustomed to outside center, and I think Jordan Bataille and Paisami, for me, I think are better talents in that 13 position.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Well, you've been very vocal this season about the Reds having the better team, winning the final this weekend if they were to make it. So obviously Brumbies versus Reds, it's going to be a great matchup. But you've got a few key players pretty battered from the last match. So you've obviously, like you said, you got Chris Sortia. He's done his groin again, which has been a bit of a niggly injury for him. Bataille with the HIA. I think you've got one other person in the Red side that isn't, I guess, 100%. But are you still confident in them to get the job done?
Yeah, look, I think it comes down to, again, my fear that we spoke about last week happened in that first half where the Reds forward pack were just trying to out-muscle, which they don't need to. They're fitter, stronger, faster, smarter. I think if the Reds can disrupt the Brumbies, taking nothing away from the Brumbies, I think the Brumbies are a talented rugby IQ galore. But I think the pace of the game, especially with the new rules, favor youth, speed over, just the solid old workhorse. Do you know what I mean? And regardless of the injuries, Chris Foyal-Sotia, I mean, we've got numerous options to replace him on the wing. Will he be missed? Yes, 100%. But I'm more worried about the forward pack. If the forward pack can deliver a stellar performance like they did that last 25 to 35 minutes of the weekend's game against the Rebels, and or replicate and or do better than what they did against the Brumbies, I'm not worried at all. I think the Brumbies will struggle with the speed of the Reds.
Well, big shout out to the Melbourne Rebels on making it to their first ever Super Rugby playoffs, even if it is just Super Rugby AU and not a whole competition. Like, credit to them, because they battled this whole season to make it in. And I'm repping that Melbourne Rebels shirt that Paul Aloamiel gave to me, I think I would say about close to 7-8 years ago when he used to play for the Rebels. So yeah, big credit to them. They were battlers in this one. It was
they did. Look, man, I thought after the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh, Rebels need to switch a gear here, or it's going to be a big blowout. And to their credit, they really did. You know, and their forward pack. And again, like, I keep harping on it, and you know, this is the problem when you've got young forwards, is they can't compose themselves. There is no reason why that red scrum should have lost anything, and there's no reason why there needs to be that being replicated. But if the boys are willing to, you know, really work on that scrum, they shouldn't lose any of those scrums, especially this weekend against the Brumbies.
Yeah, definitely. What's up, Harley? Just saw her coming in and out of the frame. Well, with the end of the, we'll go over across the ditch, and with the end of the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, the last Test match, the lack of Test match rugby on the calendar, we saw the Mitre 10 Cup return this past weekend, and with a lot of squads that are very loaded with amazing talent. This is something that I'd never see. So just to name a few players, you had seasoned veterans like Kieran Reid make his first ever appearance in a Cunties Manukau jersey. Bowden Barrett playing alongside his brother in Taranaki. Even Julian Salvia coming back from overseas, obviously due to COVID, and was playing alongside his brother Artie. And you even got other guys like, I think, Jack Goodhue, who hasn't played for Northland in a long time. He was playing for Canterbury for a while. He's playing alongside his brother Josh. How good is it to have Mitre 10 Cup back, but being this good?
Dude, so my Saturday afternoon in Australia was the best. At 12 o'clock, I was watching, I was flicking actually between the Clippers and Nuggets game.
Oh, but then just pause that though. How crazy is that? Dude, Denver has forced a Game 7. How crazy is that? It's nuts.
This is what happens. You know, this is what happens when you're that good, is that like they did it on Saturday's game, they just switch off. They're like, that third quarter, they're like, yeah, we don't need to put the pressure on. Well, you do. Yeah. Because it's a Game 7 now, you dumbasses.
And you've got Jamal Murray coming for blood. So, oh, man.
Dude, man, I couldn't believe it. But, so Saturday I was watching Waikato and Welly game. That was insane. That was one of the most insane rugby. I was just like, this is club rugby. This is club rugby.
Don't worry, we'll talk. That's our game of the week that we're going to talk about.
But yeah, so I watched that. Then I went in and was it Tasman and who Tasman play?
Tasman was playing Counties Manukau.
That's it, Tasman Counties. Like, and then I went to a Reds game. I was like, my life is good, bro. My weekends are now like, I don't need to leave my house, bro. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But the Mitre 10, man, like, just watching, I think too, like, what's really beneficial and what's really amazing is that, like, these All Black players, fringe squad players are now playing with club players who some don't even have Super Rugby experience. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's something that I really want to talk about in this Waikato Wellington game, because you had basically a whole backline full of Hurricanes players, and all the Waikato players took them to the brink of their existence. They were just sitting there baffled. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the New Zealand game is so far superior, is because they're letting this happen. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I know I harp on about, you know, like, even for the Rugby Championship, Dave Rennie's changed the rules for his eligibility to make the Wallabies. But with a system like the Kiwis that works this well, there's no reason why you need to look abroad for your superstars that have gone elsewhere, because, you know, something like the Mitre 10 Cup is providing a platform of world-class players to play with fringe players, to play with club players.
Yeah.
And how is it a bad thing? Like, these club players are going to be infinitely better for it. And your country's rugby is going to be infinitely better for it.
Well, we'll talk about the Wallabies selection in our bonus point segment, and we will kind of have a chat about your opinion on the squad and everything like that. But obviously, with the Mitre 10 Cup segment, this is the first time we're talking about it. So for our listeners, we've got 14 provinces in this competition. Each episode, we're not going to do a full recap of every game because that would basically just be dragging on for about 3 hours because we would talk about all the amazing rugby. But we're going to do a rapid recap of all the scores, and we're going to choose a specific game each week to highlight. And this week's game is going to be our Waikato Wellington game. But the Mitre 10 Cup scores, you had North Harbour play Canterbury. Canterbury on top with 43-29. Waikato Wellington was 53-28 to Waikato. Yeah, baby. There we go. Otago played Auckland. I predicted this one. Auckland was to beat Otago 38-6. Counties Manukau versus Tasman. They held their own for the first half at least. They played a very well game, but the reigning champs ended up on top 41-24. Northland Manawatu. This was a freaking awesome game. I really enjoyed watching this matchup. Northland coming on top of Manawatu, and Aaron Smith very pissed off at that one, I can tell. 43-26 to Northland. Naki and Bay of Plenty as well. This was probably my favorite game to watch all week. So obviously you got Naki, you got the Barrett brothers, and on Bay of Plenty side, you got guys like Sam Kane on that side. 36-29 to Taranaki. And the last game, Southland beating Hawke's Bay 16-10. That was an upset. That was an upset.
That was completely unexpected.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gone into a season, unless you're a Southland fan, you're not picking Southland to win many games during the season. And it's sad to say, but Southland getting a win in that, it really shows them that they're ready to have a crack this season. But let's talk about a game of the week. So obviously Waikato Wellington. During the Super Rugby Aotearoa season, the Galahad Chiefs from Waikato, ugly duckling of the competition, not a single win. So a lot of people have been looking down on the Mitre 10 Cup team. But for anyone who knows the Mitre 10 Cup, they know that anything can really happen in this competition. It's not just you don't just protect your teams and that's going to be it. So now when you look at the teams on either side of this match, Waikato were definitely the underdogs in this match. Considering Wellington was basically all Hurricanes players, and even worse, you had Arkoi, who was our lock playing for Wellington, who obviously played for the Chiefs. Right. But something that I really what we spoke about is the kind of the resurgence of the younger players who don't have Super Rugby experience really having a crack in this game, and obviously throughout the competition. The one combination I want to talk about is the 9-10 combination for both sides. So you've got Perenara and Garden Bishop for Wellington. So Perenara, obviously very seasoned All Black. Garden Bishop played a great season for the Hurricanes. He's on the up and up. But Waikato, a debutant in row, and then at number 10, you've got Fletcher Smith. Unless you watch Mitre 10 Cup, you don't really know those two names very well. But I think those two alone, like obviously the whole team, they played really well, but they restored a lot of mana back into that Waikato jersey, showed what Mitre 10 Cup's all about. New Zealand having so much talented depth, young and hungry players ready to step up and do their provinces proud.
Dude, that first 20 minutes, Wellington didn't know what to do.
No, not at all.
They were just like, where do these mother blooders come from? Do you know what I mean? They were on. I have not seen attack like that since watching an All Blacks game last year.
Okay, so question. So I thought ALB played relatively well in this game.
I will give you that.
Okay, all right. So
I'm gonna take the foot off the gas on my ALB hatred. And he played good.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all. Because if
LeBron still sucks.
I'll pay that. But if I'm watching that game and I thought ALB, I'm either have a mindset where I'm like, I must not be seeing it properly because I just love ALB so much and I'm being biased. But now that you agree with me, I can understand that I'm actually looking at it from a logical mindset. But I think, definitely the backs, their backline attack was great. It was, you had Damien McKenzie doing what he does when he's open and expansive play, just trying to elude that area, and his counterattack was great. And you go.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up in regards to Damian McKenzie, right? Because when we discussed our possible All Black line,
Hmm.
back line
Yeah.
last week, that game sort of nailed it for me. Do you know what I mean? Because that elusiveness, and it's not that Bowden can't do it, but it's just that Damian McKenzie he's like, he's got rocket fuel in him,
Yeah.
and you just don't know how he's going to do it. And like that game in particular, especially that first 20, 25 minutes, it was just like, man,
Well,
this guy, like, no one can stop this
there
guy.
was
Do you
one
know what I
play that
mean?
actually really cemented it for me is that I think he was about 15 meters away from the try line, and he's got two massive forwards in front of him. Any other fullback or any other back player in general will look to distribute the ball and try and build space out wide and get rid of it. He went from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour and tried to power through, and he was this close to getting through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think he definitely nailed that one, and he's probably going to be the starting 15 unless someone really wants to get Geordie that experience in the All Blacks jersey early. Um,
He just doesn't deserve it off form.
yeah, I definitely think Damien McKenzie. But I think in regards to the forwards, you look on that side for Wellington, and Waikato outmatched again, but the forwards just ran circles around them. You've got a lot of different dynamics there. So you've obviously got Artie Savia and you've got Vaya Favita as your back two players. Plus, I can't remember who else was playing open, but yeah, it was just definitely a one-sided game of the forwards. You saw every maul. They weren't getting dominated, but it was just easy
Yeah, it
pickings
was
for them.
different league, man. I think, dude, how good's Artie Severe, bro?
He's
What
so
the,
So everybody says it. Like you look at him play it in the Hurricanes, and he's playing very well in Super Rugby. But when he gets to a Mitre 10 Cup game, he doesn't just stay at that level. He goes, "I'm way better than all these people. I'm just going to run circles around you."
so good, man. And Vivafita, man, that dude's a bloody workhorse, bro. He
Yeah,
scares me.
yeah,
I'm just like, man, that dude, you you're walking around at like 118 kilos,
yeah,
and you're running like 10 Ks a game.
yeah.
That's disgusting,
Well,
man. Like those the numbers.
he's had a lot of problems with the Hurricanes in the past years because they've been wanting to play him at lock because obviously
Yeah,
they've been lacking at that lock position. He thinks he deserves to be in that sixth position, but I think giving him an opportunity to have a crack at six in Mitre 10 Cup has really just opened it up for him, and he's able to play really well.
yeah,
But
man.
let's talk about one man I'm really glad to see back in New Zealand rugby, and that's Julian Savia. So he's trimmed down a little bit.
So good.
He's switched on
Thank God.
and oh no, yeah, seriously, he was too chunky for me over in France. But he's the bus has left the station, and he's trying to remind everyone who used to be the number one winger in the world.
Yeah.
What did you think of him over the weekend?
I think it was a great initial hit out, man. I think like I mean this sincerely. Comparatively to every other rugby competition in the world, like Mitre 10 Cup, you get found out, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know he was playing in top 14 and you got Gallagher and Heineken and all that jazz, but like, let's be really honest. When you go and play in a New Zealand club competition, people want your head if you're awesome. People want your position. And if you're someone in his position that was the best at what he did and you've come back, they really want to give you as little but as much respect as possible by trying to like hurt you and outplay you. And I thought he handled himself pretty good, man. I don't think there's anything there to say outstanding. I think that after 10 games, we could be seeing the resurgence of the bus.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting. The game's changed since he was a winger too. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
The dynamics have
100%.
shifted.
100%.
You know, but yeah, man, I thought it was a really solid head out, and it was really nice to see him and Artie playing again together. I thought
How
that was
good
like,
was that? Yeah, especially him setting him up for his first try. That was just like picture
yeah,
perfect Kodak moment.
yeah, and I think like the irony that like when Julian sort of was at his prime, Artie was like the guy that was like, let's give him a shot, and now it's like we're giving Julian a shot. Now Artie's the man. Do you know what I mean? So it was like a real nice little sort of like twilight moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like their parents and family are mad proud. But yeah, man, honestly I thought it was a solid hit out, bro. You don't lose your rugby IQ, man. If anything, with age, it gets that little bit smarter. It's just whether the body can keep up.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we move on to our bonus point segment, one thing I want to ask you: what the hell is Billy Proctor doing in that 13 jersey and Umaga Jensen's on the bench? I don't get that one.
Here's the thing. I don't fucking know. I don't.
Because as soon as so I was sitting there and obviously using your Foxtel login to watch it because I have no other way to watch it, and then I shout out Hala for giving me that. But I was sitting there and I was watching the lineups, and I watched the Waikato, and I was like sitting there going, oh yeah, we've got a pretty decent team, but I'm a bit nervous because the Wellington team's going to be stacked. And then even the commentators, they were sitting there going, why is Umaga Jensen on the bench right now? And I'm going, what the fuck? I was baffled. Why would you do that?
So, well, I don't know, and because I missed the lineups because I was watching the Clippers game, and then so I've jumped on, and I'm like, oh, I just assumed he was injured because that's the only logical reason.
Yeah,
he's not starting.
Yeah, he came on with 20 minutes to go. I'm just like,
what a waste, man. What a waste.
I really hope
kid's been a superstar since high school.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Not knocking Proctor, but like.
Oh yeah, like I'm not sitting here going Proctor's terrible and he shouldn't even be deserved to be on the team. But when you've got a guy that played so well in Super Rugby, and you've got Billy Proctor,
stand out.
You choose Umaga. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm going to get as passionate.
I think too, like from a coaching standpoint, maybe just giving the kid some sort of extra responsibility so that, like, I don't know, because it wasn't logical. And had they been down by like 5 to 12 points, I guarantee you that switch would have been made a lot earlier.
Mm. Yeah, because those last points did get put on pretty late, but still. Yeah, I understand that perspective because obviously in these Mitre 10 Cup seasons, you do want to get these guys more game time and you do want to give them more responsibility. That's why I do like seeing. Obviously, you've got really seasoned veterans on the team, and you've got Karifi at captain. So I really did like that, and his post game interview was crack up. He basically got asked. He got asked about what happened, and he was just sitting there just going, We lost. We'll come back next week and we're ready to go.
He's that good. Like, I think he's a future All Black.
Oh, definitely.
I just think, like, I don't know where I'd play him though. Because he prefers open side, but I'd probably put him at the 6, man.
Yeah, he would be a good 6. Yeah, he'd be a good 6.
Yeah, like. But it'd be interesting. But yeah, man, great captain though. Great choice of captain. He deserves it too. He's an amazing player.
Mm. Well, it's called the bonus point for a reason, and we spoke about the All Blacks squad naming last episode, and this week we're going to talk about the Wallabies squad. So now, just like a lot of businesses during COVID, the Wallabies have an opportunity to reshape their approach with Dave Rennie at the helm, and with his championship-winning pedigree. It's not
going to happen with this team.
Well, hey, come on. We got to trust in his vision. We don't know what his vision is yet, but the Wallabies have a real shot to make a significant leap in the World Rugby rankings if they do this right. So obviously we're not going to talk about the whole squad because, like I said, that will take forever. But I want to talk about some notable selections as well as some people who missed out. So when we're reading a lot of these selections, you can tell that Dave Rennie's focusing on the next World Cup with his squad. It's pretty known. So
100%.
Not just for the next year or two. The first example, selecting Len Ikitau and leaving Tavita Kurandrani out. So Ikitau, one of Kurandrani's teammates, and although he didn't get a lot of Super Rugby minutes, Dave Rennie believes that he's a bolter and he has a lot of potential. So he has a very similar playing style to Hunter Paisami, and you've been quite vocal that Kurandrani is kind of past his prime. What do you think of this selection?
He is. Yeah, man. I'm okay with that selection. I still think Paisami and Pataya are the guys that by leaps and bounds. But yeah, I was not angry at that. Kurandrani's done, man. He's had a terrible season. And I just think from a leadership position at an international team, he doesn't have the goods.
Yeah, agree. Okay.
And that sounds mean, but like that's what I think.
Well, I mean, like I think when people think we sound mean, we're just being honest. Like we love Matt Tamua, and we ripped into him for the first 4 weeks of Super Rugby AU. So we're never being mean.
And he came home.
Yeah, we're never
No,
being mean to anyone. We're just being honest. So we play it how we see it.
100%.
But another selection that I really like that Dave Rennie made for the future was picking Farmasili from the Rebels. So young 23-year-old rugby league convert, made a massive name for himself this year for his brute strength, big hits. I'm loving this pick. What about you?
Nope, don't like it at all.
You don't like it?
Nope, he's going to get found out, bro. You put him against a South African, a Kiwi, or an Argentinian side, he's going to get found out, bro. He's not ready. His rugby now is close to none. Outside of brute strength, he can't prop. The amount of penalties he let through just from his propping alone, and he looks lost at set pieces, bro. I don't think he deserves it, and I think he could have made a better selection than that. I think leave him as like a train-on squad member.
Well, that was going to be my question. Is do you think that him getting included in the squad, maybe not necessarily getting any test matches this year, but getting put in the squad to learn from these players and get that kind of education?
Yeah, man. Look, I mean, we both know that there's always a squad of 53. Okay, like that's just what happens, right? There's always fringe players. He deserves that fringe player spot. I don't believe he deserves to have a Wallaby jersey that could be in the mix.
Okay.
And that's what this 44 is. So
who would you pick over him?
Man, I think I'd probably choose. That's a tough one. See, I think they're compensating for the age with the front rows competitively to the younger guys coming through. So now you don't want an older guys going into the World Cup.
Well, I think that is true.
The younger guys,
because you got James Slipper, you got Scott CEO, so obviously you've got guys that have got a lot of test match experience. So I can see that. I think that's what like I said, they're trying to plan for the future. So maybe they're just trying to get some experience under the belt.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know who I would choose, to be honest, because I don't think I think the team name is cool. But in regards to him, it's like with the front row, it's always weird because, unfortunately for Australia, they're either too old or inexperienced, and there's literally 3 or 4: Nella Tupou, Brandon Pang-Amosa, what's his name from Ala Alatoa, who are sort of in that age bracket of young enough to still be here and can lead and can do everything right and have the experience. So, with the front row in Australia, I don't think they have, for the type 5 in general, they don't have an embarrassment of riches. So they have to, make these calls. Do I still think he could have been replaced? Yes, and maybe even one less front rower and probably bring in another lock or even another hooker could have been a better. Because let's not forget, you could also, and not just because we know him, you could also bring in Foleri Kaitu'u, who can prop and hook at the same time. And that would be a better, for me, I think would be a better attribute and asset to the Wallabies, because now you've got a backup prop and a hooker.
Okay.
With rugby, you're not actually teaching anything. If anything, you're refining it so that if push comes to shove and you do lose a hooker or a prop, you've got, you know what I mean? You don't have to, you're not losing a number just because, injuries or whatever.
Okay, so I think,
but that's just me.
No, I hear what you're saying. There's definitely a lot of logic to that, and I think that this next selection, miss over someone else, I think you're really going to agree with me on this one. So we've got 2 guys that I'm really feeling for. So Andrew Muirhead and Jock Campbell. Obviously, Australia is spoiled for outside backs, but over a guy like Maddox, I don't see it. Maddox had, I think, aside from 2 or 3 games that he played where they were pretty average, he has had a terrible season this year. If you're picking on form.
Oh man,
the
fact that he made it. Oh, dude, it was disgusting, bro. And let's be really honest here. He's a good player. When he played for the Wallabies, he was good. Don't say that you're picking on form and then choose him, because that's a load of crap. It's Adam, right? Adam Muirhead.
Andrew
Muirhead. Sorry, they all look the same.
You're a dick.
And Andrew Muirhead and Jock Campbell. Someone tell me that Jock Campbell isn't the best outside back right now. Can go from outside to wing to fullback and perform at an elite level. You're a freaking liar. Jack Maddox doesn't deserve to be there in case of him or Muirhead at all. And I'm gonna harp on this too. Reece Hodge, too old. See you later, mate. Like, you've done nothing this season. And
I think the only reason they have him is because they've consistently used him for his distance in place kicks. Like, if you need a 60-meter kick, or you need to kick for touch and you're a million miles away, he's your man. But yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but for the sake of what? Losing the explosiveness and Jock Campbell is up there with Damian McKenzie for me this year, man. He's just been so outstanding, bro. And Andrew Muirhead, are you serious? Like, what a finisher, bro. What a classy finisher. And, so strong, bro. He can be by himself, and he's giving you 3 to 5 seconds for your teammates to get there. Do you know what I mean? I honestly was disgruntled when I saw this. And I'm also going to throw Dane Halapeti in there too. Because, I'm sorry, what we've seen from the Rebels this year, and that backline in particular, which Wallaby Field backline, you've delivered nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Literally
So,
nothing.
I think he's 31 years old. I think so. And he's obviously
he's not too much younger than me.
He's obviously come back from a few injuries, and that's to be accounted for. But still, from what we saw when he's come back in, I agree with you. I don't believe he does, especially if you're looking to build for the future and you're looking to grow this new depth, especially during COVID. I don't agree with this selection, but I think Dave Rennie would have had to deal with a lot of politics, considering how much status Halapeti has in kind of Australian rugby. He's obviously the captain for the Rebels, and he's had a lot of experience with the Wallabies. But still, you're picking on form,
dude. And you watched the game on the weekend, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Literally, oh yeah. I think the thing that annoys me the most is we respect Dave Rennie highly.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to come out and say he's picking on form, that's some bullshit. You're not picking on form with those guys. Do you know what I mean? Now you're picking because someone's telling you. Yeah, and if he honestly thinks that they're good, if they don't start in the Wallaby side, and this is what I think will happen. He's chosen them, and if this rugby championship goes ahead, given COVID or whatever.
Well, it has. They've agreed to have it. Did you see that it's going to be in Australia?
Yeah, but it depends because Queensland government hasn't. So it's supposed to be one Bledisloe in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And now, but Queensland government have to write off on it because of the whole AFL thing. The whole debacle. They're not too sure if they're going to sign off on it now. I hope they do, because if they do, I'm going to stick around for a Bledisloe.
I'd hate you if you did that, but yeah, I definitely agree with that.
But yeah, that's what I mean though. The back line, it's just terrible, man. And they're gonna get pumped if they try. You can see now that they're gonna go. I mean, you'd assume Tate McDermott gets the 9 star.
You have to.
You'd hope so.
Actually, I think a lot of people are vouching for Powell. A lot of people are saying that, or Nick White. So I think
Nick White. Oh my! No negativity here.
no negativity.
Yeah, look, I don't know. My feelings towards him are worse than LeBron James.
Yeah. Well, I think there is a lot of positivity coming out of this squad naming as well. So obviously you had guys like Lolosio who got injured pretty early. Really happy he got named. We spoke about it before. Tate McDermott, so happy he got named because he definitely deserves to be in there on form alone, plus all his potential. You've got other guys like Harry Wilson and Lockie Swinton. I'm actually pretty excited to see.
Right?
Yeah. And who else? I think there's one other person. James Ram. I'm actually pretty excited to see how James Ram goes in this Wallabies squad.
I'm with you on that. That'll be a really good opportunity to see how he goes. It's funny, like just like looking over, and it is a young team. And you know what I think the undoing is going to be is if they choose these old heads over these young guys, because like this is just me speaking off the bat here. Let's just say they'll go Nick White purely for experience at 9. Then chances are they're going to go Matt Tamor at 10. His face, James O'Connor, Jordan Pataya maybe at outside. If not, it'll be what's his face, Haley Petty or Hodge. And then on the wings you'd have Pataya. On the other side you'd have what's his face, that we what's Jack Maddox, or Jack Maddox at fullback and then Dean Gunu on one wing. So if you're lucky.
You cut out for a little bit. Who's your 12 and your 13?
Oh, sorry. So at 9 you've got this is what if you're going to choose experience, you'd have Nick White at 9. At 10 you'd play Matt Tamor. At 12 you'd have to put O'Connor.
Yep.
At 13 you'd go Hodge, Reece Hodge. And then on the wings, you'd have to debut Dangunu because he's just been ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then on the other wing, you could have Korobidi, and then at the back, you'd have Maddox.
Yeah.
Or Haylett Petty.
See, yeah,
right?
when you listen to those names, it's just like when you think of who are your ideal people to play in a Wallabies jersey, probably 80% of those names you think of, they're coming off the bench. They're not who the Wallabies can pick.
Yep. Dude, well, this is who I'd pick. Ready? Take McDermott at 9. O'Connor at 10. At 12 and 13, this is a tough one. But I'm going to go by Summy at 12, Patai at 13.
Ooh, okay,
on the
like
wings, on the wings, I would 100% keep Korobidi and Dangunu. And that fullback, we'd have my boy at the back. Just had a complete mind blank now. Jock Campbell, but
he's not in there.
So off the team, on paper, it's sort of like there's no one that sticks out. Yeah. It's so like for 15,
well, they've got Tom Banks.
Have to play. Well,
yeah, that's what I mean. So,
you know what I mean? And that, I guarantee you, let's say you put Tom Banks at the back there, that backline will do more damage to any international team than their older, more experienced counterparts. You want to know why? Because they are more dynamic, they play instinctively, and they just don't give a flying F word. Do you know what I mean? That first backline, way too predictable. You know what they're going to do. Even O'Connor at 12, too predictable. O'Connor at 10, you don't know what he's doing. Gee, is he running? Is he kicking? Is he playing at depth? Is he playing shallow?
Yeah, no, I'll pay that. All right, well, just before we finish off, is there anyone else you really like or dislike in this naming of the squad?
Is there anyone else that I think should have made the team? So did you say?
Is there anyone that you really like being named in this team, or anyone you really dislike?
Dude, super really like Filippo Dangunu, because I was 100% against that guy starting for the Reds. And he's proven me wrong, and I love being proved wrong. Also, Sakaya Loto at lock is going to be the difference between the Wallabies sucking and being awesome.
Yeah, I'll pay that. Yeah.
He's a dude. He has been outstanding, and Rob Simmons never should get a look in ever if he's still playing.
I was going to say that even though he's got 100 tests under his belt, Rob Simmons now, he just needs to get out, go overseas. He's done. He doesn't deserve to be in the Wallabies.
No. And again, this is what I think that on for the older, experienced guys, and that's just going to kill them.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's the Wallabies squad for this year. I hope they come in play New Zealand and they get sassed, and then another Bledisloe comes to the All Blacks.
I'm going to go live. If they come to Brisbane, I'm going to wear my All Blacks jersey, and I'm going to be at Suncorp, and I'm going to go live. I did it last time when they played Sydney and we got up like 50 something to 12. Yeah. And dude, like, it was the happiest moment of my life. I mean, this is what happens when you, like, the Wallaby system's broken and they need to fix it. Bro, I would have more respect for the Wallabies and Dave Rennie if he chooses the youngest test team in the world and they get pumped than this experience with a couple of new guys and they lose by 7 or 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, you're not doing anything for your World Cup hopes and the Wallaby system moving forward.
Yeah, I think if they're going to give these old heads a go, I think it's definitely should be, if they have an opportunity to play a test match like a tier 2 side or a tier 3 side, get them some more caps under their belt. I'm all for that because obviously they've done the hard yards, they deserve it. But when you're playing guys like New Zealand, your South Africa, even sometimes if you're going to play an Argentinian team, you got to choose the best people for the job. And if you're going off form, you can't choose some of these guys. If they put Rob Simmons in and they start him, I'm not even going to watch the game. I'm just going to watch the results and watch them lose.
Yep, 100%, man. I agree with you.
All right. Well, I hope Test match rugby comes back sooner rather than later. But if it doesn't, we've still got Mitre 10 Cup. We've got 7 games we can watch every week. And then we've got a massive final coming up. So for anybody who doesn't know, we already predicted our winners last week. So Hulla's got the Reds and I've got the Brumbies winning this matchup. Whoever does win this one, do you want to go double or nothing? So I've obviously got my back injury. If I win this one, Brumbies win and Burpees get wiped clean, or if I lose, I'll do 100.
No. Yeah, let's take it.
Yeah, there we
I'm
go.
rolling the dice.
Hey, it's blow on them all you want. You're not getting that win. I'm not doing 100 burpees.
Man, ready? I'm telling you right now, Reds win by 12 points this weekend in the Super Rugby final.
Man, if they win by exactly 12 points, I'll do 125.
I'm calling it. Reds by 12 points.
All right, there we go. All right, done deal.
Also, to be fair, I predicted a Rockets Clippers final, so Lord knows if that's gonna.
Oh, you did so well. All right, well there we go.
It's not been a good year for me in my sports bet.
Oh, neither for me, man. So don't even stress about it. We'll be in pain together, and we'll have a scotch afterwards anyway. So it'll be all good.
You know we will, baby.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into the Bonus Point Rugby podcast. Check out the Rugby Nation for strength and conditioning programs if you're trying to get fit during this quarantine process, or if you're not in quarantine process, just to get fit in general for rugby season coming up. They host pre-season programs, in-season programs, and post-season programs. So everything you need, hit them up on their website and look out on our social media page for all the deals. Anything else you want to say before we go, Hella?
No, guys, just keep enjoying the rugby. Look it up. Anyone that is having some issues in regards to like training things, make sure you hit up our sponsors because they've got some great programs in there for you.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for tuning into the Bonus Point Rugby podcast.
Up the Reds.